Welcome back. In this video lesson, we'll have division of decimals. Pero medyo malaki kasi, malawak kasi yung division of decimals kumpara sa multiplication ng decimals at saka sa addition and subtraction of decimals. So, with respect to division of decimals, we have this lesson in 3 parts or in 3 separate cases. So, tatlong magkakahiwalay ng cases. Ang una nating case, which we will discuss in this video, is how to divide decimals or decimal numbers by whole number. Okay? Basic yan. Diyan tayo laging uuwi pag pumunta tayo doon sa second case at saka sa third case natin ng pagdi-divide ng decimals. So, how do we divide decimals or a decimal number by a whole number or decimals by wholes? Suppose we have 4 and 1800s divided by 2. Okay? Let's start off with that. Madali lang. 4.18 divided by 2 or 4 and 1800s divided by 2. So, as you can see, our dividend, our dividend is a decimal number, mixed decimal. Pero pag sinabi kasing decimal, may decimal part. Okay? So, yun yun. So, yung ating dividend ay decimal at yung ating divisor ay whole. So, how do we do that? We do this in the using the long method. Okay? Wala muna tayong mga shortcut ha. Doon lang muna tayo sa mga long method. So, first and foremost, how do we divide ba? Okay? So, first, meron tayong tinatawag na ano. Let's have an acronym for that. We have D, M, S, D, and then R. Okay? Sino to? Actually, isang pamilyang masaya yan. It's a happy family. D is for dad. M is for mom. Para mas madali, S is for sister. And B is for brother. And R is for your pet. Let's have this as pet rabbit. O, diba? Para B. Rabbit. Pero actually, you will not call your dad, mom, and your sister, and your brother. Kasi mamumroblema dyan yung masolong anak. No? Wala silang kapatid. O, actually, this stands for the process that you will use when you are performing division of numbers, DMSBR. So, para mas madali lang tandaan, we have dad or daddy, mom, mommy, diba? Sister, brother, and then your pet rabbit. Kahit wala kayong pet na rabbit. Okay, wala kayong pet. For this particular acronym, magkaroon kayo ng pet rabbit. Okay? Ano yan? Yang ano na yan, yung mga process na yan, D stands for divide. Okay? D is for divide. M is for multiply. S is for subtract. B is for bring down. Ayan, magbi-bring down na tayo. Bawal kasi yan bawal yan sa addition tsaka subtraction. And then R is for repeat. Okay, so tatandaan niyo yan ha. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat. Pag nakarating na tayo dun sa repeat, ibig sabihin we start again from the top, which is divide. So, DMSBR. Daddy, mommy, sister, brother, and your pet rabbit. Okay, so we have divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat. Okay. When you know already how to divide the whole numbers, then kabisado nyo na yan. Dapat. Okay? So, we do not skip a step. Baka kayo malaglag sa hagdan. Ganon Okay, let's have 4.18 divided by 2. So, syempre, yung ating waiting shed, ilalagay natin dyan. Yung bubong. Ang una sa pila, siyang unang papasok sa bubong, which is 4.18. And then our divisor, 2. Okay? So, how do we divide decimals? Case number 1. A decimal dividend by a whole number divisor. Actually, wala naman masyadong problema, pero ang uunahin natin bago mag-divide is to place the decimal point in our quotient. Hindi siya kagaya ng pagmumultiply. Sa pagmumultiply, multiply muna bago placement. Sa pagdi-divide, placement muna bago divide. Okay? So, let's place our decimal point. Yung divisor natin, dahil whole number na siya, wala tayong gagawin masyadong adjustment. As is yan, yung 2. And then, yung 4.18 natin, may decimal point siya. Ang gagawin lang natin, i-reflect natin yan dun sa taas. Okay? So, pag sinabi by reflect means we put a decimal point directly aligned to that decimal point. Okay? So, kung medyo hindi pantay, di usog natin ng konti. Yan. Okay? So, dapat naka-align yung decimal point ng ating product at ng ating dividend. Pag nailagay nyo na yung decimal point doon sa quotient part ng ating computation, then that's the time you can now proceed to dividing the numbers. Okay, so dahil nailagay na natin yung decimal point sa sagot, dead man na tong decimal point sa baba. So para na tayong nagdi-divide ng whole numbers. Okay, parang. Kasi nga, hindi naman natin pwedeng tanggalin yung decimal point niya. Okay, so let's do this. We have 1 digit in the divisor. We start off with 1 digit in the dividend. So, first digit is 4. 4 divided by 2, that is 2. Okay, next, multiply. 2 times 2, that's 4. Next step, subtract. We have 0. Okay? 0, pero dahil meron pa tayong digit na natitira, wala muna tayong ilalagay na 0 dyan. Okay? So, 0 yan. And then, B, bring down the next digit, 1. Bring down the next digit. And then, repeat. 1 divided by 2 is not 2. It cannot be. Diba? Kasi dapat whole digit yung digit ng digit na 0 to 9 ang pwede niyo ilagay dyan. Bawal yung 1/2. Okay? Bawal yung 0.5. Kasi nga may decimal point na tayo dyan. So, 1 divided by 2, hindi pwede kasi kulang yung 1, hindi siya sapat. Kasi pag nagdi-divide kayo, it's how many 2's are there in 1? Okay? Pag naglo-long method kayo, how many 2's are there in 1? There's none. So, we'll have 0. Okay? And then we multiply. 0 times 2 is 0. Then we subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. Bring down 8. Okay? Bring down 8. And then we repeat. Divide. 18 divided by 2, that's 9. And multiply. 9 times 2, that's 18. Subtract. We'll have 0. Okay, 0. Dahil nag-0 na siya, tapos na yung ating pag-divide. Wala na rin tayong digit na idadrop, so tapos na yung ating pag-divide. Okay, so the answer will now be 2 and 9 hundredths. Okay, take note of this, people. Kasi common mistakes ng mga bata yung ganito. They skip a step. Di ba sabi natin, you divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat. For this instance, when we brought down 1, then we proceed to dividing, kasi nag-repeat na tayo, 1 divided by 2, hindi kasya yung 2. Wala tayong 2 sa isa. So, Yung kadalasan, ang ginagawa ng mga bata, nagbi-bring down agad sila ng next digit, making it 18. Diba? Tapos pag nag-18 na sila, isusulat nila doon 9. Nawawala yung 0, which is entirely wrong. That makes your computation wrong. Siyempre, kung mali yung computation ninyo, mali rin yung huling sagot ninyo. So, as a thing to remember, it's very important that you do not skip a step whenever you are multiplying. Huwag ninyong katamaran yan. Kapag hindi siya pwede, 0. Tapos, huwag kayong mag-bring down. Kasi pagkatapos ninyong mag-divide, meron pa kayong multiply, meron pa kayong subtract bago kayo mag-bring down. Huwag nyong lalagtawan yung dalawa. So, pagkatapos nating mag-divide ng 1 divided by 2, ang susunod doon ay, syempre 0 ang sagot, isulat ninyo yung sagot dun sa taas. Tapos, saka kayo mag-multiply and then subtract. Then, that's the time you bring down the next digit. So, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-bring down ng dalawang digit agad. Kasi ang pag-bring down ay isa-isa. Pa-isa-isa lang. Hindi po pwede ng dalawa agad o tatlo agad. Tawag yun. Okay? Kasi unang-una, kung hindi kayo ganun pa kagamay sa pagdi-divide, magkakamali kayo dahil malilito kayo and you will miss a very important digit. Hindi baliwala ang 0 kapag kayo ay nag-divide ha, importante yan. Okay? Let's have a second example. So let's have 3 and 7 tenths divided by, let's say I have 15. Huwag mo ng 15. 25 mo na. Okay. 25 na lang. Second example pa naman tayo. 3 and 7 tenths divided by 25. Okay. 3 and 7 tenths divided by 25. So we write that properly. 3.7 divided by 25. So, papaano yan? Okay, whole number ang ating divisor, decimal ang ating dividend. So, what do we do? Dahil whole number yung ating divisor, diretso tayo dun sa placement ng decimal point dun sa ating quotient by reflecting that on top. Tatapat natin dun. Okay? So, dahil may decimal point na tayo dun sa ating quotient, then that's the time we divide. We have a 2-digit divisor. That means we start off with a 2-digit dividend. Kaso, dahil dalawa lang naman yan, no choice tayo. Talaga kukunin na natin lahat. So, we now move on to the MSBR. Ito na tayo, ha? Okay, 37 divided by 25. Na-reflect na natin yung decimal point. So, pag nagdi-divide na tayo sa actual division natin, hindi na natin binabasa yung decimal point. So, we'll have this as 37 divided by 25. Or how many 25 are there in 37? How many 25 in 37? There is only 1. So, dun yun tayo sa 1. Multiply. 1 times 25, that's 25. Subtract 37 minus 25 is 12. And then, we bring down. Ay, wala tayong i-bring down. Ma'am, tapos na po. Ang gagawin ng mga bata, ganyan. Dudugtungan yan. Gagawin niya. 1, tapos may 1 dyan at saka 2. O, mali yun. Mali yun, ha? Dahil meron na tayong decimal point, ay decimal point tayo, libre na ang 0. Pero, ang 0, makukuha lang natin pa isa-isa. Okay, saan natin ilalagay yung 0? Doon sa dulo. Okay, so, bakit natin ginagawa yon? Una kasi, nang nag-subtract tayo, meron pa tayong butal. Meron tayong remainder. we have 12 as a remainder. Dahil decimals na yung ating kinocompute, bawal na ngayon ang remainder. Hindi pwede ang remainder. So we continue on with our division. And to do the bring down part, yung bring down part, para magawa yan, we need to add zeros. Okay? Dagdag tayo ng zero dun sa ating dividend, pero pa isa-isa lang. So, and that zero will be brought down, making our number 120. Okay, so para hindi nakakalito, let's use a different thing. Okay? So, na-bring down na natin, 0. So, 120 na. Then we repeat. Okay? Repeat. Divide. 120 divided by 25. How many 25s are there in 120? There are 4. So we write now 4 on top of the 0 that we added. 4. And then we multiply. Second step tayo. 4 times 25, 4 na 25 equals piso. Tama? Minsan mga bata mabilis mag-compute kapag pera ang pinag-uusapan. So that's 100. Okay? So 120, then subtract. 120 minus 100 is 20. May butal tayo. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, kung may butal tayo, we continue on with our division. Extend muna natin yung shed natin. And then, we get another 0 that we can drop down. Okay? Drop natin yan doon. So, our 20 will now become 200. Okay? Para maidiretso natin yan. Kasi hindi tayo pwedeng tumigil hanggat hindi yan 0. Hanggat may butal, diretso tayo. Paulit-ulit tayo daw. So, we divide again, 200 divided by 25. Ilang 25 meron sa 200? We have 8. So, 8 times 25 is 200. We subtract 200 minus 200 is 0. Ibig sabihin, tapos na yung ating pagdi-divide. Ano ngayon ang ating sagot? Ang sagot natin ay 0.148. And to write it properly, we place a 0 before the decimal point, and then we continue on copying 1, 4, and 8. So, what is 3 and 7/10 times 25 divided by 25? It's 148,000. Okay, so that's how we divide decimal numbers by whole numbers. Okay, let's have a third example. Doon na tayo sa last natin. For this case, let's have our last example. So suppose we have 3 and 900 divided by what? 15. Okay, 15. Okay, so again, we write it the long method way. Dividend sa loob, divisor sa labas. So, 3.09 divided by 15. Ayan. Kadalasan ang mga bata nalilito pa dyan. Ang una nilang, ang 309 nandito sa labas. Patandaan ha, kung pila yan, sisilong ka, kung sino yung nasa una, yun ang papasok muna. Okay? Ito ang nasa unahan. Now, let's have now 3.09 divided by 15. Ang divisor natin ay whole number. It means we can now reflect our decimal point dun sa quotient part natin. So, i-reflect natin yan sa taas, doon. Okay? So, dapat yan ay pantay. So, lagyan natin doon. Oh, diba? May effect. Then, we now proceed to our division. We have a 2-digit divisor dun sa ating doon sa ating statement or expression. So we should also have 2 digit sa dividend natin. First 2 digits sa dividend. So we have 30 divided by 15. That would be 2. Okay? Then multiply 2 times 15. That's 30. Deadma muna yung decimal point. Subtract. We have 0. We do not write down the 0 yet. Why? Because we need to bring down the next digit 9. Kasi hindi pa tayo tapos, kaya hindi tayo magsisiro dyan. Okay? So we have now 9. And then repeat, divide 9 by 15. Ilang 15 ang kasya sa 9? Hindi ka kasya, walang kasya. So we have 0. We do not skip a step. We multiply 0 times 15 is 0. And then we subtract. We'll have 9. May remainder pa tayo. That means we need to get a 0 that we will bring down to continue on with our division. Okay? Bakit nga may libreng 0? Kasi meron na tayong may decimal point na tayo sa dividend natin. So bringing down this 0, that will make it 90. 90 divided by 15 is 6, and then 6 times 15 is 90. Subtracting these two numbers, we'll have 0. Wala na tayong i-bring down na 0, kaya sinulat na natin yun. That finishes off our division, our computation. So our answer for 3 and 900 divided by 15 is 206,000. Okay? Lalagyan natin ng 0 dun sa unahan just to tell that we do not have a whole number part. So that ends our case 1, our part 1 of division of decimals, dividing decimals by whole numbers. So I hope this lesson video helped you in understanding how to divide decimal numbers by whole number. Kapag naggamay na ninyo ito, then that's the time you proceed to our part 2 or our case 2 in dividing decimals. See you.